What's up, everybody? It's me, Ross from Ross's Rundown and Sports Talk 790.
And it's me, Brian McDonald, from the Hit and Run on 740, well, KTRH.com, actually. I don't even know my own website.
That's cool. Well, both of us just have blogs. We don't have our own shows or anything like that.
And we have a lot of free time to kill.
Absolutely. Well, instead of listening to Matt Thomas or Charlie or Dylan,
I can't stand those guys.
Yeah. And for you, instead of listening to Glenn Beck and the like and
Rush,
which you love.
I love, of course.
Yes.
Endorse thoroughly.
You bleed red, white, and blue now every day. Let freedom
I'm a
ring.
patriot.
So we thought we'd take a few minutes, give our own thoughts, put it on our blogs, talk about a couple sports topics. Of course, going on this week is the NBA Finals.
What do you mean we're not going to talk women's softball? Ladies college. Right now we've got,
how do the Cougars do?
We've got Florida and Oregon on TV.
Texas is out of it, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't pretend to know.
Yeah, well, let's move on.
Okay.
Yes,
okay. Basketball, hoops.
So, yes, this week the Western and Eastern Conference Finals wrapped up.
Yes, very quickly. Both five-game series.
First time that's ever happened since 1986, I believe.
Look at you. Look at that stat.
Well, I stole it from Charlie.
Okay.
Most of my stats I steal from Charlie.
Right.
So.
I'm okay with plagiarism.
But still, that's pretty surprising. Both series, I think, were closer than, a 5-game series would indicate.
Yeah, of course, both series had at least one overtime. But didn't one of them have 2 overtime games? Or am I wrong on that?
I think only one overtime. One each, I think. One apiece.
One each. But, even the deciding games were fairly close. Of course, with Dallas and Oklahoma City.
Choke.
Oklahoma City. The Thunder collapsed both games 4 and 5, so that could have been a lot closer series.
Exactly.
And Miami, the last 2 games of that series also, Chicago had late leads, and Derrick Rose decided to become Allen Iverson light, and they choked those games away.
I don't know. Allen Iverson, I think, would have done a little better.
Maybe so. Derrick Rose. Here's a question for you. Who shot worse, Derrick Rose or Russell Westbrook?
I would guess Derrick Rose.
They were both pretty miserable.
They're both kind of similar type players. Derrick Rose is obviously better, but both of them are scoring point guards who are at their best when they get to the hoop, rather than shooting threes or the long range game. I think Derrick Rose has a better mid range game than Russell Westbrook.
I would agree with that. I think he could get to the basket easier and finish easier.
Absolutely. He's a better dunker.
Well, yeah. But I don't know. When I watched that series, at least in somewhat, when I'm watching Chicago, I understand why Rose does that, because some of his supporting cast doesn't step up night to night.
Right.
Whereas with Westbrook, he's got that guy named Kevin Durant.
I don't know if you ever heard of him.
I don't know.
And James Harden as well.
James Harden's played well.
Other than that, Daquan Cook, Eric Maynard, they're just players. They're NBA players.
You got the back-to-back scoring champ on your team.
He's decent.
He's decent.
Except that he actually struggled throughout the series as well. Except for that, he had a 40-point game in Game 1, and then I think after that, I don't think he shot,
I thought he had another
45 or 50%.
Game after that.
He might have. But I think he had a lot of 8 for 20s, 9 for 20s.
8 for 20 is still not bad. That's like, what, 46%, 47?
That's exactly 40%, my mathematically challenged friend.
Okay, I'll take your word on it.
Well, you half it.
You're right.
That's
you're right.
10. All right, there we go.
You're right.
But 9 for 20 is acceptable, but it's not like he's on fire or anything like that.
No, of course not.
So I think with a couple of their late collapses, I hate to say, Scotty Brooks.
Now, you had an interesting Photoshop the other day, and I couldn't agree more.
Yes, on the 15 when they had the 15-point lead with 5 minutes to go, there were several times coming out of timeouts where you get one bucket and the game, you can breathe a lot easier. And every single time,
one bucket would have done it, because they scored 2 points the last 9 minutes of the
something
game,
like
10
that.
Minutes of the game.
They just seemed offensively inept at the end of that game, and I was embarrassed for Scotty Brooks.
Yeah,
because coming out of the timeouts, this is what would happen. They'd have Collison or whoever, or Westbrook inbound it to Harden or whoever, and then throw it to Durant, and then they just stand around for 10 seconds.
Do you think that was the design of the play, or do you think that's young players making mistakes and maybe not?
I think it was bad design.
You think it was bad design?
Because at this point in the season, at this point in the playoffs,
I'm okay with blaming Scotty Brooks.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking at that point, for some reason, if Rick Adelman was coaching right then, that they would do. What if Rick Adelman was coaching the Thunder right there?
Ball movement.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they don't lose that game if they have a coach. And every time, you don't expect for something too profound out of they have the inside tracks.
Right.
Where every time they have Scotty,
yeah.
he's like, guys, you gotta
play hard,
play,
shoot well,
rebound,
make baskets,
and it's annoying me.
Yeah,
he and Stan Van Gundy's one that really annoys me whenever they show the inside tracks.
That's just because of his voice.
He's like, "Oh, you guys gotta compete out there." I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
he sounds like Oscar the Grouch.
I almost fear for his safety, though. I'm thinking something medically going wrong with him during those timeouts.
Seriously.
I think his life might end 10 earlier.
I find myself tuning out Stan Van Gundy, and I'm not even on the team.
You're right.
Okay, anyways.
So, let's say if someone like a Rick Adelman had been coach, obviously the Thunder blew 2 late leads in games 4 and 5. You think the Thunder would have won
might
that
win the
series?
series.
Yeah,
I think it goes at least 6 or 7.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, at least 6, because game 4, they should never have lost that game.
Right. So, I mean,
and
maybe
even
they'll
game
improve.
1, which they lost, it was, what, a 6-point game?
I think so.
Yeah, so even
they
had
the crazy game with Dirk, and they had it within 5, I think, with 2 minutes to go.
Right.
And then they had the awful game from 3 in game 2, where I think they were 0 for 18 from 3 or something like that. Oh, I'm sorry, game 3 I'm thinking of. Game 3, they were 0 of 18 for 3 or something like that, and they were within 5 with 2 minutes to go. Every game...
Oh, that was the game where they got blown out in the first half, right, and made the comeback.
Right. So they were in all these games, and leading, 4 and 5.
Right.
So they're really close. I don't know what's going to put them over the edge. Maybe just more experience. Maybe next year they'll be...
Durant and Westbrook are both only 22.
Maybe they could be the Western Conference favorite next year because the Lakers, older...
Lakers are older, yeah.
Mavericks, they played them close this year. They're going to have more experience. Mavericks are going to be older. Nowitzki's 32, Kidd is 38, Marion's 33, yes.
Yeah.
And,
I think the youngest guy in that starting 5, I believe, is Chandler, who's 28.
Yes, I believe that's correct.
I think I did a stat the other day in the hit and run, and I might
KTRH.com.
That's right, KTRH.com. The average starting age of the Mavericks is 32. This is the starting 5. The average age of the Thunder starting 5, 24.
Wow.
So, that's talking about experience. That could be a big
they might
part
be
of
your
it.
Western Conference favorite next year, after the Rockets and Kevin McHale. Okay, well, how about the Eastern Conference? Those were also very close games.
Yeah. I think the Bulls are one player away, kind of like we talked about with the Thunder.
Like maybe a LeBron away.
Well, what
do you mean? I think maybe a 3-point shooter.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I think they're a swing scorer away.
How about like a 2-guard who can defend?
Yeah,
and shoot the 3.
Well, basically a more consistent Luol Deng.
Yes,
because there are nights when Luol Deng plays really well.
Yes, but
he's
off and on.
He's just not there at all.
Yeah, I remember when he was coming out of Duke, I thought,
he left,
and he shows flashes.
Year. Yeah,
so
he, like Corey Maggette, left a little bit too soon.
Yes. Who else left after 1 year? Didn't Elton Brand leave after 1 year?
He left after 2 seasons.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyways, so now we have the NBA
now
Finals.
Now that we've got our Duke rating. Yeah. Our Duke quota.
Hello, Coach K.
Yeah.
All right. So the NBA Finals themselves. He was at
the game the other night.
So what are you thinking for the Finals?
Well, let's go like this. Who do you give an advantage to position by position? This is
okay.
One way I like to look at it.
Point guard.
I say Mavericks.
Absolutely.
Shooting guard, Heat.
Yes.
I can't even name Deshaun Stevenson.
I don't know. I mean, he's going to have to play some good defense.
Not that it would matter,
threes.
but Deshaun Stevenson not
Do you get annoyed
up.
when he makes a 3 and he puts his 3 over his eyeballs?
I get annoyed when anybody does that.
And then Jason Terry does his little airplane.
Oh, the jet, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I was waiting so bad for...
I don't need a reason to be mad at Jason Terry, though.
That's true. When it was crunch time during the Western Conference Finals, I was thinking, I want somebody on the Thunder to make a 3 and then do their little airplane 3 down the other side of the court. I was praying for that.
I think they should do that.
I know. Me doing it on the playground
Maybe
wasn't
Dwayne Wade
as
should do it here in the next series.
I hope he does.
Okay. Well, anyway.
It would make my life.
So point guard Mavericks, shooting guard, we both agreed Heat, small forward.
Definitely Sean Marion over LeBron.
Okay, I'm going to disagree with you. All right.
Okay.
So Heat on small forward. Power forward. Now, here's where it gets interesting. I would say I'd lean. Now, Chris Bosh has played really well.
Yeah, you got to go down. No,
you got to go Dirk.
Dirk is on fire. Dirk is ridiculous. Dirk is out of his mind right now.
Center.
Let's see how
I don't
he's
think
doing
it matters,
in the playoffs.
but I would probably go Tyson Chandler.
Yeah, Tyson Chandler definitely over Joel Anthony. I think that's going to be key.
So that's 3 positions to 2.
Right.
I think it's going to be a good series, though.
I think so. I think there's going to be a lot of closely contested games.
If Dallas wins, I wouldn't be shocked. I think what you could see...
The only thing would shock me is maybe a Dallas sweep.
That would surprise me. I think the only scenario I would see Dallas winning, let's say they steal game 1 or game 2 and go home kind of like the Pistons did against the Lakers. I believe that was...
And then they won all of them.
5, right, and then win their 3 home games.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see.
Either way, American Airlines wins.
That's true. They're getting a lot of plugs this series, aren't they?
I think who was it? Darren Ravel put up some outrageous number, the amount of money this series is worth to American Airlines, and it was astronomical.
That's great. All right. Well, I have Heat in 6, and you have Heat in 6.
I guess we will see what happens.
I guess we'll see. All right. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for listening.